TitleMatchNetwork.com.
What about Missy Hyatt? What are your memories of Missy?
See, I knew Missy when she was fabulous, you know. I first met Missy when she was in World Class, and she was managing John Tatum,
Right.
you know. And I got to back up a little bit, because John Tatum, his real name is John Pringle. He's from Pensacola, Florida. He's Michael Hayes' best friend. So during that time, when me and Michael Hayes were all going to matches, there was John Pringle, John Tatum. So he was part of that little deal too. But Missy was a sweetheart. You know, we'd go over to their apartment. She'd cook for us, and she was just great. But wrestling being wrestling, things change. And nothing personal against Missy at all. I love her to death. I don't get to see her as much as I used to. But I was done one of those wrestling reunions here a few months ago, and it was doing a question and answer session. So people come into the back of the room, and I see them, and I didn't recognize her. And so she's changed physically, you know, and but she was a sweetheart back in the day. Don't ask me about Tammy Sytch.
What are your thoughts on Tammy?
Oh, God, did you have that on your paper?
No, we'll ask that later on.
Okay, save that.
Okay.
Because
no problem.
Bless her heart.
What thoughts on Tammy?
Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette. She was married to George Jones. If anybody knows me, knows I love country music, and George Jones is my favorite country music star. He stopped loving her today. Y'all talking about Tammy Wynette, right?
Tammy Sytch.
Tammy, who?
Blonde hair.
Oh, Sytch. Bless her heart. You know, it was another case of probably wrong time, wrong place. You know, Tammy and Chris, they were very young when they got their break in the company, and I was established there with the Undertaker, and they came in and they were just young and just full of piss and vinegar, and she had an attitude, and I just didn't like her attitude, and we just constantly bumped heads all the time, and unfortunately, Chris, God rest his soul, would always be in the middle of our wars, and we had a few wars now and then, and she's publicly said she hates me, and at one time I publicly said I hated her. But time heals all wounds, or wounds heal all heals, or I don't know what the hell the deal is. But I don't hate Tammy. I don't. I understand. Looking back now, I understand what happened. You know, I was there when the boys pooped in her food,
right?
And she ate it.
And
I didn't mean to tell that one, Tammy. Here I'm saying. No, seriously, I don't have nothing against Tammy anymore. I understand why the problems happened that happened. It was the nature of our business and the nature of the beast, and I'm so sorry that we've lost Chris, because he was a tremendous talent. And we had our bad times, but I don't think they was as bad as a lot of people try to make them out to be.
What was the party scene like in WWE at the time when you were there?
At what point? Early on, there was always a party. It just depended if you wanted to participate or not.
Right.
You had your cliques. I mean, if you wanted to party, you could find a party.
Right.
You know, if you want to go back to your hotel and play Nintendo, go to bed like the boys do today, they don't have no stories to tell like we do. But you know, I had an open invitation, you know, to jump in on any party that we wanted to. I tried not to. Like I said, I had a babysitting job to do. I had to take her up in the morning.
Right.
But there was a lot of parties going on, and we had a lot of fun, and we were making good money, and it was a fun ride. But it died down. It's not like that anymore at all. The company's not like it used to be.
Right.
There's the party scenes. It's not there no more.
Was the travel schedule and all that? Was drug scene pretty bad in WWE in the early '90s?
Well, drugs had I started. Like I said, I had my first match in 1974. There's always been drugs in wrestling. I've never seen wrestling without drugs. Now, during the time of the steroid trials with Vince, you know, back in the early 90s, when the government was really involved, they really came down really hard. The piss testing was just unbelievable. I mean, they did piss tests all the time, back to back sometimes. I mean, it's constantly, because they had to prove to the government that there wasn't anything going on there. But there was always, if you were into that it was there. But
Right.
just like anything else, whatever you're into, you can find it. If you're into whatever you're into, you can find it. It's there. So if you're into that scene, it was there. And if you got caught, and unfortunately, a lot of our boys and a lot of our brothers are gone now because of the drug. You know?
Did it bother you when WWE started transitioning divas to managers?
Yeah, because of course, me being a manager all these years and everything, and I like the old school manager stuff, and I found that there's always a place for that, and I still think today if something don't work, the old school always worked. You can always go back to the old school, and it'll work. But then, like I said earlier, I can see a place for the TNA. I'm not talking about total nonstop action either.
Huh.
For the TNA, there. It don't interest me anymore. I guess I'm just too damn old to care. But there's some young boys out there that cares.
Was there any divas would come up to you and go, "Hey, we're managers. I want some advice from you"? Or
Yeah.
who was most receptive to you?
Trish Stratus,
Mhm.
when she first started, and what a sweetheart. And I haven't had a chance to talk to her a long time. And they're coming to my hometown here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go down and get a chance to visit with some of them. But I remember vividly telling Trish Stratus when she first started that I hope she never changed. And I hope she hasn't. And I haven't talked to her in a long time, and maybe she hasn't. But she was really sweet and sincere and really interested and had that respect. That's something that you don't see anymore with the young talent, the young boys, is the respect for the history of our business. And it's just not there anymore. And it's not their fault because they haven't been taught that. It's the nature of the beast. It's a new millennium.
TitleMatchNetwork.com